Hey everybody! In this video we are going into more detail about how digestion works, and specifically we're looking at the different types of digestive enzymes and which foods they work on, because there are a whole range of different digestive enzymes and they all break down specific different types of food molecules in our digestive system. So we're looking at digestive enzymes. So remember, digestive enzymes, they're just chemicals that get released into our digestive system and they break down other food molecules. So they help us to break down the food before it gets absorbed by the small intestine, and then the food molecules get carried in our bloodstream to the cells so that then they can do cellular respiration and get energy for the cell to survive. So, the first thing we'll look at now is that there are three main categories of food that we can actually eat. And you would have heard of all of these. We've got carbohydrates, which are sugary substances or grain-containing substances like bread and biscuits and rice and things like that. These are all full of carbohydrate chemicals. Then we have proteins, and you'd know that proteins are all your meat containing foods, and also things like legumes contain lots of protein as well, like beans and peas and things like that. And then we also have fats, which is the third category of food that you can eat. And this also includes oils as well. So we often think that fats and oils are bad for us, but our body does need some fats and some oils, and there are healthier options than others. So it's important to learn the differences in when you're learning about your foods. So each of these three different types of food molecules, they need to get broken down by different types of digestive enzymes, and they happen at different parts of the digestive system, and we'll look at that in a second. Firstly, though, the next thing we'll do is look at how we break down each one of these foods. So for carbohydrates, there are two types of digestive enzymes that break them down. Firstly, you've got amylases and you've also got lactase. And what these enzymes do is they break down your carbohydrates into really simple molecules called glucose, which is just a sugar. So all your bread and rice and carbohydrates just get broken down into sugar. And then they can be absorbed by the small intestine. Proteins are the next one, and they get broken down by enzymes called pepsin and trypsin. And when a protein gets broken down, it gets split apart into its smaller building blocks, which are called amino acids. These were originally used to build the protein, and now they get split apart again, just like Lego bricks getting broken apart when you pull apart a Lego set. And then for fats and oils, the enzyme to digest those ones is called lipase. So lipase, when it's going to come along to a fatty molecule or an oil molecule, and it's going to break it all apart into two different types of chemicals, which are called fatty acids and glycerol. And then those can be absorbed by the small intestine and again travel to cells to be used in cellular respiration. Okay, so they're the three categories of enzymes, and you should know which enzyme is used for each food. Now we'll look at where these actually occur, because each enzyme has a special set of conditions where it likes to, where it's most efficient and it works best. So firstly, we've got amylase for breaking down carbohydrates. Amylase is actually in our saliva. So it's the very first enzyme that starts to work on our food because it acts on the food as soon as we put it in our mouth. and it continues down the esophagus as well. So then once we get to the stomach, there's one main enzyme in the stomach, and that is pepsin. So pepsin's one of the ones that breaks down proteins. So let's write what's being broken down. Amylase broke down carbs. Pepsin starts to break down proteins when they get to the stomach. And then when food moves to the start of the small intestine, a whole lot more enzymes are living in the small intestine. And in there we've got trypsin, and we've got lactase, and the other one, which is lipase. So these are all in the small intestine. Okay, and so these digest all the three categories. So lactase, it digests carbs. Specifically, it digests lactose, which is in milk and dairy products, as you probably would know. Trypsin continues to digest proteins. And then lipase digests all our fats and our oils when they get to the small intestine. Okay. And this also is where those accessory or the secondary digestive organs come into play. Because, remember, the accessory organs, they're the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. And these organs, they make all the digestive enzymes. That's the key. So, the pancreas makes quite a few of them. The gallbladder, well, it actually stores bile, so it's not related to enzymes, but the liver also produces some of these enzymes. So it's the liver and the pancreas that are making lots and lots of these enzymes, and they're constantly pushing them into the stomach and the small intestine so that all this chemical digestion can happen using these enzymes here. Alright, so that's the final detail we need to know. How each different type of food gets digested by its different specific enzymes.